tarnish on the badge. We have a story from Fox 4's Sean Rabb, and then we're going to speak to him live right afterward. I believe he's outside the Dallas FBI office. So let's listen to that story.
Into the Dallas County Jail Thursday night, charged with 2 counts of capital murder. The murders date back to 2017. Reiser allegedly directing another person to kidnap and kill 2 people and paid money for this to happen. His name mentioned to police in 2019 by a suspect who says he and others killed the victims at Reiser's instruction. Cell phone and GPS technology on DPD squad cars confirmed Reiser was at the place where the person who implicated the officer in the scheme says they met to formulate the plan. The new DPD chief acknowledging Reiser kept working the streets while under suspicion.
He doesn't become a murder suspect until we have enough information to find probable cause that he is a murder suspect.
To make the case thorough and identify everyone, it may take quite a while, and 2 years is probably not out of range.
Danny Deffenbaugh retired as special agent in charge of the Dallas FBI division. He says these kinds of allegations involving a police officer brought FBI and possibly Texas Rangers resources to the Dallas police investigation.
Murder for hire cases is going to be very sensitive. You're going to have to watch that individual many times, 24/7, to make sure that you stop any type of crime or conspiracy that might be in progress.
As the ongoing investigation, what would that look like if you were in the Civil Rights Division now? What would that look like?
Well, it would have to be a very heavy vetting of the cooperating witness because that person's going to be a key person. It appears that they themselves are charged with very serious crimes.
Former prosecutor Russell Wilson shaped what is now the Civil Rights Division in the Dallas District Attorney's Office to investigate, alongside law enforcement, officers accused of wrongdoing.
The investigation would surround, one, a heavy vetting of them, then extensive corroboration of the information that they are saying so that you're not in a situation where your sole source of information is the witness who is also facing criminal.
All right, we bring in now Fox 4's Sean Rabb to kind of break down the story a little more. My first question for you, Sean, where is Officer Reiser tonight right now, and is he still with the Dallas Police Department?
He is still with the Dallas Police Department, though the chief is taking the steps to have him terminated. He's in the Dallas County Jail under $5 million bond.
And Sean, my other question for you is, these murders, they said, are unrelated. They said that they might have happened when Officer Reiser was off duty. What do you make right now of where this goes from here? What is the next step that you'll be following?
Well, we're going to follow the bricks of the investigation as they begin to take shape. And by that, I mean, we believe that the officer, Brian Reiser, talked to investigators after he was arrested. So, in addition to the information we already have in an affidavit, we expect there are going to be other people brought in, perhaps other people arrested connected to this. This began, according to the witness who went to the police, began with he and Reiser talking about robbing trap houses and taking the money and drugs from dope dealers. And then he says at some point, Reiser approached him about killing a woman first in 2017, March 10th of 2017, and then months later, a man. He says both were killed in the same location along the Trinity River and their bodies dumped there. The woman's body recovered, the man's was not. Now, here's what's critical. It may have happened while he was off duty, but this man who talked to the police gave them times and dates where he says he and Reiser met to formulate the plan. They were able to prove that Reiser's squad car was at that location at the time the man said he was there. The problem with this witness is he is also a suspect in several other murders along with 3 other people. But according to his attorney, he has remorse about what took place in these 2 crimes and decided to talk to investigators. So, Reiser's name first mentioned in March or so of 2019. Police began investigating. The Dallas FBI started their investigation immediately along with Dallas police detectives. They followed this every step of the way. I'm certain that at some point had a search warrant for his phone. They tapped his phone. They understand who he's texting and talking to. They were certainly tracking him while he was on duty and possibly tracking him while he was off duty as well.
Sean, just a few more questions for you. What is his record like on the Dallas Police Department? Has he had any, infractions or behavioral issues? Kind of give us a sense. How long was he on the force itself?
Yeah, so he's been a 13-year officer. He's had a couple of incidents. Back in, I believe it was 2017, he had a domestic violence charge during an altercation with a girlfriend who showed up at his house. He was trying to break up with her. She says she was trying to take a picture of him. 911 was called. Neighbors were screaming. She had scars on her arm, and he had a domestic violence charge. That charge later went away. In 2018, he and another officer arrested a woman who they said was DWI, driving while intoxicated. Turns out she was having a medical emergency. The charges against her were later dropped. But there was some counseling that went along with that, of being sensitive to people and trying to understand the folks that you're dealing with. But there's nothing in his jacket that rises to this kind of level of criminal offense. We've had it happen before in Dallas with officers robbing drug dealers, with officers selling fake dope and then arresting those people. But we've never had a Serpico moment. We've had an officer in the late 90s, a police officer who put a hit on former Dallas Cowboys wide receiver Michael Irvin. But the DEA stepped in and that was thwarted before it took place. This, two people who have actually been murdered back in 2017, and now 4 years later, we have the first arrest connected to that of a Dallas police officer.
And yes, totally unfortunate. Obviously, police officers are entrusted to protect us, and any dereliction of duty is antithetical to their mission as a police officer. My last question for you, Sean, though, what are his family, what are his friends saying? What are his fellow members of the force? Have you kind of gotten a sense of, are they shocked? Are they saddened? Are they surprised?
Neighbors that we spoke with yesterday are shocked, in disbelief. We've spoken with the representatives of various associations, police associations. They too are saddened. It's a kick in the gut for an officer to be accused of something like this. There are officers who get caught up in their personal lives all the time because they are human. There are officers arrested for DWI or family violence. But you know what? To pay for murder for hire, a Dallas police officer paying someone to have citizens killed? Oh man, it's a shock to the department. Chief Eddie Garcia says any good cop hates a bad cop. No one wants the badge to be tarnished like this. And so the department quickly reacting, not happy with the allegations. If true, certainly not going to bode well for Brian Reiser.
All right, Fox 4's Sean Rabb, thank you so much. Do we expect to hear from police? I know we're at the end of the week here, but possibly next week. Any more updates from them, you think?
They have not indicated that as yet. I think the next shoe to drop would be notification that he's been terminated. And then we'll see what happens as the investigation goes forward. If, in fact, Reiser did speak to detectives before he was transported to the jail, if he implicated other police officers or other citizens, I think we'll see swift action by the police to find out if that's true and correct information. And if so, then we'll hear from them again. I think we'll have to watch what happens in court with court filings. I think we'll also have to, again, watch that termination, which I think is going to come sooner than later.
All right, Fox 4's Sean Rabb, thank you so much for that story. We'll talk to you again about this, for sure.
Look forward to it.
All right, really interesting story there. A really sad story. Like I was saying before, police obviously are entrusted to safeguard and protect the public. And this is an instance where that did not happen. That police officer charged in the murders of 2 people under arrest right now, 2 counts of capital murder. So we're going to go to a quick commercial break. We're going to go back to the